The first video we have here is called when games become a second job. And this is something that I talk about all the time, and I'm curious what someone else says about it because I haven't really seen a video on it. But this is, I'm assuming, talking about the grind of video games and how you have to put so much times, and games as a service have just become a time dump and not a fun thing. So this is by, who is it by? Fantavision, kind of like Activision. We're going to see what this is all about.
Ever had the feeling while playing?
Wait.
Have you ever had the feeling while playing a game that you're not actually having fun anymore?
Yes.
That you're not really playing the game because it's bringing you enjoyment, but because you feel like you have to. Now, this feeling can come from a variety of different things, whether it's things inside the game, like battle passes, or limited time events, or grinding for...
So yeah, one thing that Call of Duty has done this year, Phase 4 Eyes, 100 biddies, you legend, I appreciate you. One thing that Call of Duty has done this year that they've never done before is the Fomo stuff. So the Fomo events are like the weekly challenges and weekly events that if you miss them, you miss the rewards for them. And because of that, it forces people to hop on, and maybe you don't want to play, but you want to get that. So this is like something that's becoming more prevalent in Call of Duty this year than ever before.
Certain gear or levels, things like that. But they can also be external forces, like your friends are playing it all the time. It's the only game they play. Or you've got monthly setup times or weekly setup times, like
a lot of people in, I was going to say raid nights. Wow.
Left side, even side, many whelps. Now handle it.
Or you're just trying to get better as a team, and you are just playing this game, grinding it out until you get better at it. Now, a lot of those external forces, I would say, are not really things that are bad. They're more decisions that you have made as a person because you want to either get better at something, or because you have like a community game night, and that's, you know, it's fun. It's fun hanging out and playing with friends. I want to talk more about the internal things that can make games feel like jobs, because the things that are external,
this is exactly what I talk about all the time with Call of Duty.
Inside
the weapon grind, like the weapon leveling in Call of Duty, is one of those things for me, especially like in X Defiant. Their weapon levelings, it just felt like a job, and I didn't enjoy it.
Fester and become a problem, or you become addicted to these style of systems, they could ruin games for you as a whole. Now, what I mean by that, and by ruining games as a whole, is that you can just get burnt out. You can just think that you don't like video games anymore because you've been trapped in these systems. And the number one system I would say that really traps you, and I'll talk about a couple, but the number one, battle passes. Battle passes are very prevalent in free-to-play games, and they have crossed
I'll give you another example of this exact system that he is talking about here. The battle passes are different because it's literally time played. Like I could literally go in, record how long it takes me to get a level in a battle pass, multiply that by 100, and be like, okay, you have to play for 150 hours this month to get unlock level 100 on the battle pass, or 2 months, whatever. And they're just literally a time dump, a way for you to spend time in game. Another one like this is the weapon mastery prestiges or weapon prestige camos, whatever they call them in Modern Warfare 3, where it's literally just the amount of XP. Because yes, if you're a better player, you will get more XP and you'll get them faster. So that's not quite the same. But as a whole, it's not like you can really do one thing to get more XP. You just have to play well. So I like challenges that are more specific and make you play in different ways. Sometimes I hate long shots.
Into the paid game territory, like with Call of Duty. The Sims is adding battle passes.
I didn't know that.
They have become something that went from, oh wow, this is a unique idea, this is great for free-to-play games. They're actually a pretty decent value if you look into at least Fortnite's, because it will pay for the next battle pass. So
yeah, that's the same with Call of Duty.
Never buy a battle pass except for the first one, and I did that for a very long time. I bought one, never spent those V-Bucks on anything except for the next battle pass. But other games are not a great value, and they don't even pay for the next one.
If The Sims has a battle pass, nobody's safe out here. Yeah,
that's besides the point. The real reason that battle passes are a problem are because they're essentially an infinite FOMO machine. Besides Halo Infinite, which has battle passes that never expire, which I would argue that's how all of them should be.
That's
Because
that FOMO
once you get
thing we were
locked
talking
into
about.
a battle pass, once you have made that decision to purchase a battle pass, you have essentially forced yourself to play this game until you get all the items that you want in it, because you've sunk that money in it and you want to get your value's worth. And
Yeah.
if you don't do it within that certain time frame, you have essentially lost that money.
Which is like, when you think about it, when you really think about it, that is kind of shady, right? Like, imagine if you bought something and you're like, you have this thing for 2 months, and if you don't use it enough, you don't get to keep it at the end. Like, that's actually kind of shady.
all those other items you never unlock.
I like Halo
you
Infinite's
feel
thing where you
like
can still level it up after.
You have to reach that certain level of the battle
Like,
pass.
if you buy it, you can
to
get it,
get
you
your
just still
money
have to level it
value
up. I like
back.
that.
Now, during this time of playing that game, whatever it is, whether it's Fortnite, Call of Duty, Overwatch, you're going to be having fun. You are, because battle passes are inherently fun. They're an addictive progression system that continually gives you
I don't know if I
rewards
agree
for
with that.
gameplay. And that's a phenomenal way to do it. You're constantly getting new items, you're getting new stuff, you're getting new cosmetics. That's great. That's all well and good. But the thing is, maybe you want to play something else. But because you have that battle pass and
Yeah.
you know that you only have a certain amount of time in your head, you might still be thinking, now not everyone's going to be like this, but a lot of people are going to be thinking to themselves, I should be playing the game that I've spent money on that battle pass for.
A lot of people, I think,
need
feel that
to
way.
Get to this certain level by this certain date. I have a due date. I have a deadline, like work, and I have to reach that goal or I have wasted my money.
I think a lot of
And
people
I'll
feel that.
miss out on all of those items. So now the game has become a job. You punch in, punch out as you're trying to unlock all of the different items that you've already paid for, which is just ridiculous. Can you think of anything else in life that you
Ridiculous.
paid for and you only have a certain amount of
That's
time
what I was just
to
saying
get
this.
all of the stuff that you've already paid for? Imagine if you went into Walmart or some grocery store and you have to pay up front for everything that you're gonna go shopping for, and you have to fucking book it. You gotta book
His
it.
analogy is
through
better than
the
mine.
Grocery store. You gotta grab everything as quickly as possible.
His analogy
because
is
you
way
only have a
better than
certain
mine.
Amount of time. I mean, it's a weird thing to think about because it doesn't exist anywhere else that I can think of, at least. So.
Is there anything in reality, like real world, not video games, that works like that? Where you pay for a set amount of time, and if you don't finish, you don't get to keep everything. I can't think of anything like that.
We have this strange system that you're essentially buying the fear of missing out, and then you have to earn the things you've already paid for. Now again, I understand why battle passes are that way when it comes to now you have to unlock all this
Increasing
stuff,
player retention
but I
and getting
don't
people to play.
understand why they have to expire. I understand why they expire, because they want you feeling that FOMO.
Yeah.
They want you to pay for your own FOMO because they want to keep those numbers up. They want to keep people playing. They want to keep people engaged. But I would argue that this is going to cause an issue with the game as a whole. I don't play Call of Duty anymore. I just don't, because they have that battle pass system, and I know I don't have time for it. And that's the thing.
That's fair.
with
Okay, so this
games
is like
as-
this is a legitimate thing. I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3 because I knew I would love it, but I didn't have time to play it. I don't really get in. I didn't buy the X Defiant Battle Pass because I knew that I mainly play Call of Duty and I wouldn't have time to do that. Like, that's a legitimate thing, and it sucks, but like,
as a
what else do you do?
job. When you make games as a job, which they love to call games as a service, but they're more of games as a job, you have to dedicate all of your gaming time to it. Otherwise, you will miss out on a bunch of stuff. And with Call of Duty, you're going to miss out on weapons. Entire weapons. Now, that is something I don't think they should have ever put in the Battle Pass, because it was just...
Okay, well, he clearly hasn't played much Call of Duty because you can just unlock those via challenges afterwards. So.
Cosmetics, maybe it'd be more likely to play the game, but I would still feel that sense of missing out, and I would have that pressure to keep playing, to unlocking things, even if I wasn't paying for the battle pass. And I don't like that that's basically the main source of progression now in Call of Duty, to get new and cool cosmetics and items, is the battle pass. Yeah, they've got skins and other things that are regular progressive things like headshots and killing people, but they don't have the super cool items anymore just unlockable in the game. You have to get that battle pass to get the really cool items, because of course they're going to lock all of those behind a paywall.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't they? Another thing that, Activision Blizzard has done is made Diablo like that. Diablo is now essentially a season pass driven game.
I was going to say, does Diablo, oh, it does have a battle pass.
In your run through just playing the game, you're getting your gear score up, you're getting new items all the time, which is the fun of the game, but you're gonna miss out on a bunch of other stuff if you don't play during the season. And
I played the first season of Diablo, enjoyed it somewhat.
They're complicating games that are
of course
$70 and putting this paid FOMO machine in it that makes it into a job. And that just ruins the fun for me, and I'm sure many others. They're kind of shooting themselves in the foot by trying to create every single game as games as a job. I've essentially had to narrow down my game as a job down to one, which is just Fortnite now, because they have the best battle pass out of all of them. It's getting worse, by the way. It's getting a lot worse because they've made it way grindier.
I have no idea about this, by the way.
Farther down the battle pass, like V-Bucks are now like 100. Like to get all of them, you have to be like 130 or something. Whereas before it was.
Well, how many levels do they have?
Moving the goalpost, and they keep decreasing the XP in certain things because they have all these different games now, because they want you to play Legos, they want you to play the racing game that nobody plays, they want you to play Guitar Hero. You can't just play the Fortnite Battle Royale anymore. You gotta play all these other games you're not interested in. And that brings us back to the game industry not understanding that they're going to drive people away from these games.
Eventually they will. 200 levels in the battle pass, really.
Fortnite now kind of feels like a job sometimes. Sometimes I'm playing it not because I want to, but because I know I have that battle pass with a certain time period that I have to get everything. And because of this, like I said, I've eliminated so many other games that have become jobs.
Yeah.
Because
he's 100% right. I've done this exact same thing.
I don't feel that pressure.
The sad part is Baldur's Gate doesn't have a battle pass, and I didn't play it because the other games around it do.
Game, not even because I'm enjoying it, but because I want certain items. What really triggered this in my brain to make this video was
we'd have to be real
Animals
desperate to play
had
Fortnite.
a free battle pass. I think it's going on right now. And I was like, oh, I really want that character. Because I enjoy playing that game occasionally. I don't like playing it for long stretches of time because the mechanics are kind of clunky and the game itself becomes very repetitive very quickly.
Animals doing chin-ups,
cool. By
cool.
yourself, but I enjoy playing the game and I really wanted that character. So I'm sitting there playing it and I'm realizing how slow I'm progressing in this thing. And then it has like weekly timers for certain challenges and it has all these other things that are on timers. And I realized myself, I'm like, this is just FOMO the game. And
okay. Here is the best battle pass that I've ever seen. When Fortnite first came out, they had a system where to level up the battle pass, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong. To level up the battle pass, they would give you specific challenges, kind of like the weekly challenges that Call of Duty does right now for the aftermarket parts. And when you completed those challenges, that pushed your battle pass further along. That's a cool system, because it keeps you coming back every week and it allows you to progress your battle pass further. If Call of Duty did that, and they kind of do that with their system that they have now with the aftermarket parts. Their aftermarket parts system right now is actually pretty good, because I could only log in on the last week of a season and go through all of the challenges and get them all in one sitting. I like that. The battle pass doesn't work like that. You just wouldn't have enough time. So I don't know.
Stopped playing it completely.
That's my TED Talk.
Installed it off my Xbox because even though I enjoyed playing it a little bit, I enjoyed playing it in little spurts. It felt like whenever I started the game, it was putting this pressure on me to just
you got like
past
stars
the
for
point when I
completing
really
challenges, something like
wanted
that.
Now I know this is kind
Now
of
it's all
weird
XP based.
for a
See,
lot
yeah, I
of
like that
people
less.
here, and that might be a strange reason to stop playing a game, but when a game is trying to like force you to take it seriously as a job and spend more time on it than you actually want to, I think it's time to just let it go, because it's trying to tempt you into something you're not going to enjoy.
True.
That's the whole point of video games. You're just supposed to have fun. But instead, they're trying to... They've looked way too into the stats, and they're trying to get engagement numbers up. They're trying to get people to play longer and have longer sessions, because they have longer sessions, they engage with the game more, they're more likely to buy microtransactions. And if you're more likely to buy microtransactions, now you have put money into the game, so now it's like the sunk cost fallacy, where you feel like you have to play the game because you've put so much money into it.
That's a good point. And like the only battle pass that I buy is Call of Duty, and that's the only microtransaction that I buy. I don't buy bundles. I don't buy any of that stuff.
And there's this infinite cycle of playing this game and forcing you into this cycle where suddenly you're not having fun anymore. You're just playing it because you feel like you have to, because you put all of this time and money into it already. Lots of games that do this, and I have just decided that in my life, I only have so much time, so I'm just cutting games out. I'm just cutting them out left and right because I don't want them to take up all of my time.
Play the games that you want to play.
Especially because I have such a short window of time for video games. I'm sure a lot of you out there feel the same, and I would like to experience a variety of games in that time frame. I would like to try a bunch of new indie games. I would like to finally beat some of the games that I have in my endless backlog
He has
behind
a couple.
me,
He has a couple.
or on my Steam account. I would like to experience new things and not get locked in this cycle in like 2 or 3 games and not play anything else. I mean, that's kind of how it was when I played World of Warcraft. It was just World of Warcraft and I didn't play anything else. Because
Like a lot of people, that's how they play games.
so many things that are built into that game that are FOMO. There are dailies, you get in a guild, and then you're doing things with the guild, and there's certain events going on, you gotta complete things during that event, otherwise you'll miss out, and then when the new expansion's coming up, you gotta do all these things before the expansion comes out. And
That's
when
how
the expansion
Destiny
comes
was
out,
for
you
me.
have to keep
When
up with
I played
everybody else,
Destiny,
otherwise you're
I actually
underleveled and
stopped playing Destiny
underpowered
when
with
they
your
got
armor,
in
and you
all the
can't do
battle pass
anything because
stuff.
nobody wants you in your group because your armor level's too low. So many things in that game keep you playing well past the point that you're enjoying it. And at a certain point,
Yeah, Blizzard's
I
kind of
said
the king of
enough
that,
is
eh?
enough, and I just stopped playing it, and I completely deleted it off my computer. And I feel like if more and more games try to do this, we're going to see more and more massive failures. And we're already starting to see this. We're seeing massive cracks in the live service games model. And that's great, because I don't want more games being like that.
I do not think that we have seen massive cracks in the live service game model. I think we have seen that there can only be a certain amount of games that can do it. I think that's what we see.
I want games to be a complete thing. I want it to be done when it's done and then pushed out. If you want to keep updating and adding new stuff like No Man's Sky, that's great. Those aren't paid. That's just extra content. That's just free stuff. It's more stuff to do. That's great. If that's how you're driving continual engagement because you're just adding new stuff to the game and not taking stuff away, that's the way to do it. My main point is, and the main reason I want to make this video is to maybe reach more people that were going through the same thing that I was. Maybe you're locked into these games and you don't even realize it. Maybe you don't even realize how you're playing these games and you're not really enjoying them, because I've heard this constantly from so many people.
WoW was
especially people
fine
that
when it
play
was the
League of
only
Legends,
game
they're
I
trying to
played.
grind it out, or people that are just grinding out battle
Honestly,
passes
like
where they're
that's how I felt with Destiny too, and Destiny is way less than WoW. It was just like this has to be the only game that I play, and when I play games, I have to commit my time
not
to it,
having
and that's
fun
it.
anymore. I hear this sentiment from so many people, and I finally wanted to make a video about it because it is definitely an issue in the games industry. And I also want to help drag people out of that cycle they might not even know they're in. So please let me know in the comments down below if you feel like you're in that cycle, or if you've had one of these cycles in the past where you felt kind of trapped in a video game or a couple of video games because of all of those different FOMO triggers, whether it's battle passes, dailies, things like that, where the game feels...
Daily challenges have never made me like think like that. Same with weekly challenges. Battle passes, kind of. I've had that feeling where it's like, crap, I got 15 levels left and there's 2 days. Do I just spend the money or do I grind it out for like 16 hours? No, not that much. Like 10 hours over the next 2 days.
Feels like it is forcing you to play and you're not really feeling it anymore. It's become a job. And if you've never had that, I want to hear from you as well, because if you've never had that feeling, I'd love to hear how you've avoided it. Maybe you just don't play multiplayer games. And of course, please do leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it, and subscribe for more content, because there's a lot more on the way. And as always,
so that is Fantavision. Go check his video out. Good video. I agree with a lot of the stuff he says, and honestly, like, more and more lately, that's the way games are going, and I think a lot of games are going to fail because of it. There's just not enough people who can put that much time into multiple games. Like, anyone in chat, anyone, do any of you play more than one live service game, own more than one of the battle passes, and complete them every single season? Like, this is an honest question. And if so, what games? Any of you? Because I bet you I wouldn't. I barely finished Call of Duties in 2 months. So there's no way I'd have time to like have another game where I put that much time into. Like, I just don't think it's possible. Yeah, nobody. I'd be shocked if anyone does. And if it is what you do, you probably are either on summer vacation from school or don't have a job.